thing you're talking about now, that has to do with the big class action lawsuit against the UFC that's happening, I guess.
Yeah, the class action lawsuit is something I started and pursued, and yeah, that was happening, and the purposes of that class action lawsuit is to correct these structural problems within the sport, and actually make it a real sport, a sport where guys can actually compete and, as of right, be able to earn what they're supposed to earn based on what the market is willing to bear, not what the promoter is willing to give you and what you're willing to take. It's wrong.
What do you think about the whole Reebok deal with UFC?
Well, again, this is a result of the marketplace, where all the leverage and so forth is given to a monopoly that can dictate terms. And at the end of the day, you know, Reebok, their interest is not in the fighters and so forth. Their interest is in promoting their brand. And the same thing with the UFC. Their interest is promoting them. They run the business in such a way that instead of them promoting the fighters, they're actually locking up fighters to promote them. That's why they're able to sell things like t-shirts, gear, drinks, memorabilia. That's why they're actually able to sell tickets for a UFC show before there's even fighters announced for the card. Yeah. If it was properly structured, that wouldn't be possible. You couldn't. No one could ever sell a boxing show without telling people who's fighting. It's impossible. It'll never happen. Just that alone is a perfect market test, you know, proof of a monopoly, or a scenario where the athletes are actually promoting the UFC instead of the UFC actually promoting the athletes. Right? Because when the athlete is in the UFC and they say, "Hey, I'm gonna go fight for someone else," they can't take a lot of things with them, right? They can't even give that other promoter the opportunity to say, "Hey, come watch our show because we have the current or former UFC champion fighting in our show." The other promoter can't even do that. All right, so these are anti-competitive aspects of the sport that are totally killing the sport, and the purpose of an antitrust lawsuit is to fix that.
And what do you think about the recent sale of the UFC?
The recent sale of the UFC, that's just, to me, somebody bought a rotten egg. Those guys jumped ship. That's all that is. They sold it at they chose the right time to sell it. Yeah, because they know that the structure that's there right now cannot self-sustain itself. You know, no monopoly can self-sustain itself. Monopolies are dangerous because they, by their very nature, eventually destroy everything, including themselves. You know, when you have nothing to keep something in check in the natural world or any market or in any other artificially conceived world, when there's no competition to keep it in check, it destroys everything. Right? And that's what's happening right now.